Maybe I'll just keep doing both. I don't know. So I just want you guys to understand that this is not complaining to complain. This is not talking just to talk. I've been trying to tell you for a few months now. Maybe I should have started sooner. I've been trying to tell you what's happening and where it's going and where it's heading. And hi, Amanda. I'm glad you're back. Did you get to talk to my brother further? Because I didn't even see all that stuff happening until I got to look later. But anyways, I have my computer on and I have you on my phone, so it's pretty cool. I'm like doing like I don't know what this is that I'm doing, but it's weird and I'm just doing it. But what I was saying is that it has come to a place in this country where it doesn't matter what the truth is anymore. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how racist or hey Joe, you're back too. It doesn't matter how racist people are. It doesn't matter how many people get murdered. It doesn't matter how people get many black people get trampled on. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter any of that. All that matters is that to this huge portion of white America, the only thing that matters is that whatever Trump says. I don't know what kind of spell he put on you guys. I don't know what kind of, well, not all of you, but I don't know what kind of spell, what kind of, voodoo, ship bang boom type of thing he did to you. But whatever it is, however he hypnotized you, it's insane. Like, I don't think that there's ever been something like that. Maybe Jonestown or something like that. I don't even know if you guys remember that, but maybe something like that is equal in some fashion. But what he is doing is tearing apart people. And it's like we weren't torn apart enough to begin with before him. And he's done a masterful job at supporting anything that is racist, hateful, and ugly. And the problem is that white folks are falling for it, and a very few minority element of black folks, like the freaking Hodgkin twins or whatever the heck their names are, who are just getting paid, and they're making a fool out of people, because one day I'm sure that they're going to come out the closet and be like, hey, guess what? We just got all your money. And cool, if that's the way they want to do it. But I'm not selling my soul out for that. I want people to get right with each other. I want people to get on the right page, the right side of this thing, and get rid of racism, not deny it. Not deny the existence of what this country was founded upon, because that makes absolutely no sense. The flag and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the national anthem, these things were created when we weren't even considered a voice or a people. We were considered a property and a work tool. We were considered an animal, and that's what the country was founded upon. It doesn't matter what the words say. Look, right now, I could tell you guys I'm a millionaire, but if you look in the background, it looks like I'm probably not a millionaire. But, so it's just words. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, guess what? All. Who the hell is all? Because we weren't involved in all. When we say Black Lives Matter, again, we're not saying that all lives don't matter, like you guys like to point out, or blue lives and whatever else. What we're saying is that since the inception, since the Bill of Rights and the Constitution and all the other crap, guess what? We weren't included in liberty and justice for all men created equal, endowed with certain unalienable right. We weren't, oh yeah, you thought I didn't have no knowledge. Okay, so anyways, we weren't included in all. We weren't included in we the people to form a more perfect union. We weren't part of that. We weren't part of laws. We weren't part of votes. We talk about I tried to break down the definition between the republic that we were quote unquote supposed to be and a democracy, and how it basically has now become kind of an infused version of the two. And I spelled it out. Look at Wednesday's, look at Sunday's episode, and you can get all the information of that. I broke it way down for you and spelled it all out, gave you definitions and everything. And but we've become this mixture of both that basically encourages what's the word, deception, because the minute something or someone that represents something hateful becomes the majority, for example in the Senate, the minute that happens, I'm not telling you that everybody is that our Democrats are good. I'm not saying any of that. But what I'm saying is that when you have a more hateful majority on one side, then it automatically becomes corrupt. It automatically becomes lopsided. It automatically becomes more ugly. Let me give you a little couple stats, and I'm going to go through stuff. I'm shooting stuff in and out because my head is just spinning because of everything that's been going on, and it's like I'm trying to make sure that I do some of the things that I'm supposed to do, which is to help bring some knowledge to this stuff too. But let me what was I going to say? I was going to say that hold on, let me see my notes because I have some stuff here. So here's something. So remember I said a minute ago, I said, well, how when you have part of the government, I don't care if it's 3-party, 12-party, 2-party, 10-party, doesn't matter. Whoever sits in the majority is going to then dictate, obviously, what happens in this country, because it is not truly a republic. It is not truly a democracy. It's kind of like a little mixed potpourri of several different concepts, but now more right-leaning, or in other words, more conservative, i.e., because conservative, there's nothing wrong with conservatism in the true definition of the word, not in the political sense of the word. Political sense of conservatism sucks, but to be conservative about stuff, I'm conservative about my money, I'm conservative about my food, I'm conservative about spending. So you have to take the correct definition of the word in order to make it make sense. You have to apply the right definition. So since Republicans, this is just a quick stat. Since Republicans have led, or whenever Republicans are in rule, or the predominant number in Senate or Congress or whatever, if they they're appointing judges like they did, like underneath and in the quiet during Trump's term, they went and nominated all kind of districts and state judges to seats while nobody was paying attention. They did this, and well, I was paying attention, and probably a lot of other people, but some of you folks weren't. And so when they did that, what happens is, and this is factual, you can look it up on any.org, any government website, .gov, and what you'll find out is that under Republican judges, they sentence black people to at least 3 more months in prison for the same crime that a white person gets 3 less months for. Remember, I was talking to you a few weeks ago about that whole paid prison monopoly, prison business system, the farming prison system, and I was explaining all that to you. And this is literally a fact. You can look this up, and you will find it out. You can look at a murder for, say, a strong arm murder for a white person, and a strong arm murder for, robbery. So strong arm robbery for a white person, and then a strong arm robbery for a black person. Look up a petty theft for a white person, petty theft for a black. If you look up all these things, you will find that there are in most cases at least 3 more months when the crime deserves prison. set to, and that means at least that. It could be way more than that, but at least 3 more months on a black sentence than there is on a white sentence. This is not an opinion. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is the truth. You can find this information yourself. Oh, hey, you guys are there. So again, these are the things that we talk about when we're saying to you that there is systemic racism. These are the things that we're crying out to you when we see another black man get murdered. And this kid was young life, and he wasn't murdered yet. He's alive, but he's going to have to live his life, at least as far as we know now, as a vegetable. He's paralyzed. It's just crazy. Thank you, Manda. Oh, you gotta go? All right, hey, I love you, Manda. Be cool. For those who are incredibly naive, all lives matter is rhetoric for the sole purpose of racist diversion. That is correct, Joe. And the only reason that I mentioned all lives mattering is because to God, that's supposed to be the precept of what we live under. The problem is that that's not what this country was built under. This country was not built, even though it's worded in Bill of Rights and in the Constitution and in the Star Spangled Banner, National Anthem, whatever the heck you call it, or both. That's not how this country was built, and because it wasn't built that way, it still hasn't become that way. And white people deny it, and then we live and have to suffer the consequences of it being that way. And we have to sit around having people tell us, no, you're just playing the race card. Or we have to sit around letting people say, just get over it. Just move past it. Why are you living in the past? Well, we're not. We're living in the present. And in the present, it's still happening. In the present, we're still getting killed. We're still getting lynched. We're still getting murdered. We're still being oppressed. We don't have to drink out of a different water fountain. So what does that mean? We had one black president. So what does that mean? You had 44 of them. We had one. You know, it's so funny. No, it's not even funny. It's freaking sad that really you want us to be happy with the scraps. Just like when in slavery, you want us to be happy with the whatever crumbs you throw out at us. So okay, we got one president that was black, and you still want to chastise him. You want to pretend that he's not black, that he's something else. You want to pretend that he's not an American citizen. I mean, make up your mind. You gave us that. That's how you guys look at it. You gave us one in your land. It's your America. What? We did most of the work. How's it your America? That coach last night used to be the coach for Boston, and now he's the coach for the Clippers. And I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. My bad. But he was saying a heartfelt thing, and he was kind of breaking down, and it literally is the truth. And I broke down like 49 times a day just watching the video and just watching the response from other black folk. And our hearts are breaking. Our spirits are breaking. Our souls are breaking. And I said this earlier. I said, why is it like Mandy's awesome. She reaches out and let's see who else, Kathy Searles and Chad and Scott and a bunch of people that I have working relationships and also friendships with. They reach out. My pastor Tim from X Church in Lithopolis, Ohio, where I used to work, and several others. And I'm sorry if I didn't mention your names, but my boy Heath and they got this awesome show they do in the middle of the night. It's cool. Them boys are cool too. And but I guess my point is that in a time like this, when all this stuff is happening, I put the challenge out weeks ago. I know my brother Joe was there. I think Mandy was there too. Paulie was there. a bunch of other folks in and out, and I put the challenge out to all of my white friends, all of my white schoolmates, all of my white ex coworkers, all the white folks that I've met and had relationship, rather it be in ministry, rather it be in regular bands or school, whatever. I put the challenge out that to reach out to some black folks to engage in the conversations about these things that exist with other white folks, and to talk to some of your black friends and or family and find out the truths behind this stuff, to get opinions and answers and experiences from the people who actually live it. And it saddens me, and I think I said it earlier, saddens me that nobody, let me say it again, except for the people that I just mentioned and some of my close people, none of my Stahl High School friends have reached out talking about, are you okay? Is everything all right? We know that you're doing this thing. You're trying to combat racism. Everything cool? How you doing with all this stuff that's going on? None. Zero. I haven't seen a post. I haven't seen a thread. I haven't seen... No, where are you guys? Why isn't it appalling to you? Why isn't it breaking your heart? Why aren't you sitting around with tears, full of tears, and calling every black person you know and just offering condolences and whatever for all of this stuff? Again, I told you, there's only been 12 days in this whole year so far that police ain't murdered somebody. 12. 28% which are black. We only make up 13% of the population. What are you doing? I'm going to start going by. I'm going to create a little message, and I'm going to go to all my white friends, and I'm going to put a same message of them, asking them. All I'm going to say is, hey, what are you doing? Or what are you doing to help me? Or what are you doing to help black people? Or are you really my friend? Something like that. Because we need you to stand up. If you are our friends, you should be standing up. What has happened in the past 3 days should have you so hurt and distraught and worried about all the black friends that you have because of how much we've had to take, just even in this short little period of time since the pandemic, or right before the pandemic. Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd. If you just think about all that, this is just a few months. And there's plenty more that you haven't heard about. Where are you? Where are your outcries for justice for your black friends? Where's your outpouring of love and concern about how your black friends are doing? Do we need that? Do we need to be consoled? No, we don't need to. Does it have to be that way? No, it doesn't have to. But we appreciate our lives, and and I'm sure you appreciate the fact that you don't have to deal with this stuff. And so, shouldn't you want to reach out to one of us and say, or some of us, and say, hey, I hope you're doing okay, man. This is a tough time for black folks. Anything? Or are you going to be like the guy who I keep on forgetting to finish the story? The guy that was in that thing that I was talking with these guys on Sunday and Monday, and they keep on trying to deny everything and think that we've had all the jobs and all this stuff from Trump and all this stuff that they keep saying. And this guy is like, I grew up in a... Check this out. I have to look him up anyways. But he says he grew up in at some certain point of his life where 85% of the population of where he lived was black people, and so he was the minority. And he told me that I am wrong because I don't think or believe that that's the same as being a black person living in black skin in the world. I'm in the wrong for expressing things this way because he believes, since he had that situation for a time period, for a little season, he believes that he's in touch and can understand completely what black folk are going through, and that it's not that bad, that we're just trying to be victims. Well, just saying that stuff shows that you really don't have a clue, and whatever environment that you lived in, it must not have been so bad. So maybe black people didn't treat you as bad as white people treat us. The point is that regardless of that, it is impossible. Let me be fair with this statement. I cannot explain the white experience because I'm not white. As much as I know plenty of white folks, let me repeat, my mom is white, my daughter looks white, my baby's mama, my daughter's mom is white, one of my brother's baby's mama's white and his wife is white. Let's see, I'm sure all of us had white girls back in high school. Yeah, one of my other brothers has like 12 babies mamas, and he's got like a bunch of, they're all white. Well, not all of them, but anyways, but the point is that so this is not a I hate white people thing. This is nothing like that. But let me be clear. Even though my own mother is white, I don't know what it is to walk around being white. So it don't matter if you embrace black culture. It doesn't matter if you embrace hip hop music. It don't matter if you love Bobby Brown or whoever. That doesn't matter that you have a loving or caring opinion. But it is very entitled for any white person to say, and yes, I am pointing, it is entitlement and false entitlement for any white person to say you understand what it is that a black person is going through when they tell you it. It is entitled, disrespectful, and even hateful for you to sit around saying you know what it's like to be in black skin. Because you don't. Can you have a reasonable understanding based on just a little bit of logic? Sure. That's surface area. That's not within, not surface area, I'm sorry. That's the surface. That's not the inside. That's not the inner workings. It's impossible until somebody creates something like, you know how they have in those comic books where a person can actually, do some crazy stuff and go inside of somebody else. Unless your name is Casper the Ghost, you can't go through and in somebody and walk around as them. It's impossible. I know. Look, I remember on Saturday Night Live, and Eddie Murphy and a couple other people did the whole thing where they was like do the funny sketches. They wanted to see what it would be like to walk around as a white person, and they couldn't even get the makeup right to make them look all the way white, but they did close enough, and just to get people's responses, and faking, is making fun of walks and whatever else, just whatever satire, and so, but even then, you're only getting like a little taste of what it is to be white. But for any white person to say, I know what it's like, then if you do know what it's like, if you really can perceive it, if you're that good, and I don't think God gave any of us that. He gave Jesus that, and that's about it. That's where it ended. But if you're that good, and you know that you can unequivocally say that you know what it's like to be black in America. If you can say that, then you should be just as mad and heartbroken and disgusted and sad and irate as I and we are. And just the mere fact that you're not just as mad, just as upset, speaking out just as hard, standing with us just as much, fighting against racism, standing against the Trump crap, if just because of that mere fact that you're not doing any of those things means that you do not understand what it is to be black in America. This is not a joke. This is not make-believe. This is not made up. This is not pretend, get some attention. This is not play the race card. This literally is one thing and one thing only. It's racism in this country, and it's bad. It's a mandemic, as I say, a humandemic. This is really happening. We are getting murdered for nothing. Let me say the last thing before. Remember, look, you got what's his name again? Dylan Roof murders 9 black people in the Emmanuel AME church, and they, after he murders 9 people, they arrest him without incident and take him to the drive-through to McDonald's and get him a damn snack. But this young man, 3 days ago, all he wants to do is get away from the chaos and get to his children, and he gets shot in the back 7 times. He didn't hurt nobody. He wasn't a threat to anybody. But Dylan Roof kills 9 black people that are Bible studying, and he gets a snack at Burger King. And we're not supposed to be mad. I'm not supposed to be upset, right? I'm supposed to shut up about this. I'm not supposed to talk about this anymore because I'm supposed to get over it. I'm supposed to get over it. Even though it's happening literally now every 4 or 5 days. Week at most. You guys don't even see all of them. You know, one of the things that I do during the week is I study all of these things that are still happening, the outrage that is still happening, the incidents that are still happening. Trust me, a week ago, there was a guy in a prison, or I don't know if it was county jail or whatever. It looked like kind of a county jail type of scenario. And he was in county jail, and he was having seizures. And what did they do? They locked him up. The guy covered his mouth. There's supposed to be these procedures that they use, but that's not what they did. They took it to a level way too far, and they killed him. The guy covered his face up, and he was spasming, and they murdered this guy at the county jail. He didn't even have time to get arraigned. He didn't even have time to get a judgment. He didn't even have time to post a bail. He didn't even have time to do anything. Look, just because somebody commits some kind of crime doesn't mean that they deserve murder, because you're not murdering murderers. When somebody murders somebody, why aren't you murdering them? You're just murdering the person that talks back to you, or you're murdering the person that walks away from you. But when a person murders 9 black people at a Bible study, then that person deserves to have no incident and be arrested and detained and taken to lunch. Or the guy can go into the movie theater, shoot up a bunch of folk, injure a bunch of folk, 13 murders, 58 injured, and then after he does that, he can just walk out to his car, drive into an intersection, turn himself in, without incident, and then he lives. He's called crazy by a judge, and they won't even put him on trial like that, and he just gets to live in the system as a sick person. But a guy walks away from the police because he wasn't involved in the incident that they were called to, the disturbance that they were called to in the beginning. He tries to break the situation up. Instead, he gets caught in the middle of it by the police, who automatically determine that he's the bad guy, but he wasn't. And then he wants to get away from the situation and get back to his kids who are in the car. And what happens to him? He gets shot and paralyzed. I see a lot of you guys coming on and popping off, just logging in, logging out. I don't know if what I'm saying you don't agree with, but it's facts. So I literally have to be rude this time. I'm usually nice in the threads, but I don't care if you don't believe me because it's the truth. You're taking black lives and you're cheapening the lives. You're cheapening our lives. You're saying that if we walk away from you because we're black, you can just kill us. But a white person can go on a damn murder spree and you'll take them to lunch before you even get them booked in. So let me ask you a question. So if and I'm not a murderer, but if I went outside right now and say I just vandalized some stuff, y'all gonna give me a free meal? If I go smash the window in the white person's house down the street, do I get a couple tacos? Because the white kid who's 17 or whatever, he went and shot, killed, murdered 9 black people in Bible study, and they took him to Burger King for a value meal. Do I get a value meal if I do something wrong? Do I get a without incident? Look, let me read them to you again. Hold on. Since you think I'm just spouting off, maybe, let me do it again. James Rupert, in his own house, kills 11 family members on Easter holiday in 1975. I just want to give you an example of how long this stretches back. It goes way back further than that, but I'm just going to start where you might remember. Maybe your parents are that old. I don't know. James Rupert kills 11 family members, and he gets arrested without incident, and then he is diagnosed whatever, mentally not able to stand trial. So instead of him getting the death penalty, he serves a life sentence. So he gets to live. The 11 people get to die. Okay. Robert Bowers goes into the Tree of Life Synagogue, October 27th, 2018. He kills 11 people, murders 11 people, injures 7. He was shot just to be injured. In other words, they were careful in not killing him. They only injured him so that they could arrest him so that he could go to trial. But if a black person walks away from you while you're talking to them, you will attempt to murder them, or you will put your knee on their neck, or you will put them in a chokehold. Murder 11 people and injure 7 more, you get no incident. Murder nobody, just don't listen to the stop right there, and you get murdered by the police. That's fair? Is that all created equal? Is that all lives matters? All you all lives matters people, is that all lives matter? Let's see. August 3rd, 2017. Patrick Wood Crucis, 21-year-old white nationalist, walks into Walmart in El Paso, Texas, with a WASR 10 rifle, semi-automatic, and he murders 23 people, injures 23 others. He gets into his car, drives into the intersection. This was the guy who went in the intersection. I'm sorry. The other guy just went into his car in the parking lot at the movie theater. This guy is the one who drives into the intersection. He gives himself up to the Texas Rangers without incident. The court deems him not mentally sound to stand trial, and so he's just a sick person. Okay. Nicholas Cruz goes without incident arrested after killing 17 people at Stoneman Douglas High School, going in there with a semi-automatic AR-15. July 20th, 2012, James Holmes, I think that's what his name says, murders 12 people, injured 58 at a Century 16 movie theater in Aurora, Colorado. He goes to his own car, gets arrested without incident. Again, deemed not mentally able to stand trial. What was the next one? George Zimmerman, y'all know the story. Murders Trayvon Martin, gets in a scuffle. He's a neighborhood watch guy. He wants to be Mr. Lawman, and so he sees Trayvon Martin, and he gets into a scuffle because he thinks he fits a description of somebody else, gets into a scuffle, murders Trayvon Martin, and then gets off without any penalty whatsoever. Oh, and he was allowed to turn himself in after killing the young kid. Because Trayvon Martin was a kid. Okay. Then we talked about the Emmanuel thing where, dude, he goes in, he murders people at a Bible study, black people in a Bible study, and they even know racist thing because they found this out online. And but he goes in, kills these people, he gets arrested with no incident, and gets taken to the drive-thru at Burger King for a number 5. When are you going to help us? When police departments are you going to get rid of the element of the racist people within the department? White folks, when are you going to stop denying that this stuff is happening to us on a regular basis and has been for hundreds of years? White people, when are you going to get up and stand with us and help fight the people who are the Klan or the white nationalists or the hate mongers? When are you going to stand with us and actually do something? When are you going to stand with us? Not just say, I get it, I agree in a little text message, but when are you going to get up and help us defeat this ugly thing called racism in America? When are you going to do that? Eight of the largest police departments kill black men. Largest police departments in this country kill black men at higher rates than the U.S. murder rate as a whole. Let me say that again. 8 of the 100 largest police departments in this country kill black men at a higher rate than the U.S. murder rate overall. That means criminal murders. That means non-police murders. Police are murdering black people at a higher rate than regular civilian murders are happening. That is a fact. .gov it. %99 of those killings by police officers from 2013 to 2019 have resulted in no officer being charged. And you wonder why we are upset. You wonder why we're crying. You wonder why we're protesting. You wonder why the white folks and other folks that have stood with us are protesting. You wonder why there is an element of black folks that are fed up. You wonder why. How do you wonder why? Do you not see that these things are happening? I've been pointing it out to you for a few months. Others were pointing it out to you before I started doing this. It's been on the news. I remember it while I was growing up. Nobody had to point it out to me. Oh, maybe that's because there is a difference between white and black people. So we actually see what's happening to us, where you guys have blinders on. Let me repeat these stats because it's real important. Out of eight of the largest police departments in this country, that would be major metropolitan cities. Remember, I told you about this a couple weeks ago, why I wrote up the letter that's about to get mailed out to all of them and the media outlets in their cities. 8 of the 100 largest police departments kill black men at higher rates than the U.S. murder rate as a whole. That means murder rate that aren't police as a whole, as in murderers, as in killers, murderers, bad guys. I don't know what else to tell you. In other words, just violent crime between people. That means white, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. Murder as a whole, not including police. The police murders amount outweighs at a rate way higher than murders between criminals. This is a fact. 99% of killings by police from 2013 to 2019 have not resulted in officers being brought to justice or having criminal charges brought against them. 99%. Not 80, not 70. It goes to show the point that I've been making this whole time, is that the system gives us one win every now and then. One position every now and then. But the other 99% is not in our favor. There is no advantage to being black in this country. What a sad statement to have to say. Like I told you earlier, as much as I hate to admit it, but I have to say, I know how I grew up. I know the fears that I had whenever I saw a police officer or a police car. Not because I was doing something wrong, but because that's how we raised to know that there's going to be this police officer always on your back. So you're always on the defensive. And so I brought this up earlier, is that I can't believe that I'm at the point that in this country, in the land that I love, that I do my best to be a positive role model and a positive, productive member of society, and even though I'm sick and everything, but I have to admit to all of you that there is a part of me that is so thankful that my daughter looks white, because I know that there is that less of a chance of these kind of things happening to her. That is sad. So all you guys who think that I just hate white people and all that, no. Most black people don't hate white people. We just hate the fact that you don't stand up for us or with us. We hate the fact that you spend more time denying us and trying to put other things in equality with our positions, that we always get the short end of the stick. We say Black Lives Matter because since the institution, since the beginning of instituting this country under any laws, bills of rights, constitution, or whatever, we were never included. We were less than a person. So it wasn't all lives. We were never included in all. Now all of a sudden, because we want to, try to be part of all, then all of a sudden if we say Black Lives Matter now, you pretend like all lives matter. But our lives didn't matter since the beginning. We're just getting some mattering happening. You guys have to look at things from a realistic lens. And if you can't see it, talk to one of us. We can spell it out for you. Spend a day with me. See what I go through. Spend a day with one of your black friends. See what they go through. Even if they don't tell you, you'll see when a police officer rolls by, you'll see them tense up. Even if they're a good person. Could be a pastor. Could be a teacher. Could be a music, whatever. But you'll see it. We cringe. If I hear a siren, I'm like, oh, I'm startled. Should that be the case? Shouldn't we be able to hear that sound and be like, oh, yay, the cops to the rescue? But that's not what we go through. That's not what enters my mind first. When I'm driving, well, not anymore, but when I was driving, I'm driving down the road, and I see a blue lights through my mirror, man, I start sweating. I start getting nervous. Why? Not because I'm doing something wrong, but because we don't know which officer is going to show up. I don't know if it's going to be the good protect and serve officer, or if it's going to be the I hate black people officer. The one that's going to screw with me and try to provoke me so that he can have a reason to shoot me. This is the reality of being a black person. So all you people who doubt it, like Jamie Jameson and your crew, you're wrong. It's disrespectful. It's offensive. Yesterday when I was on you guys' thing and I was trying to talk with y'all and be cool and try to give you a different perspective, when you want to call names and cast aspersions, guess what? Have fun and have good luck with that life. But let me tell you, what goes around comes around. Please remember that. I don't wish any harm on anybody, but boy, oh boy, do you guys need to wake the hell up. Now, I'm not going to say your name anymore because, that's not what this is about. It's not about your time. So, I'm going to end with this. Here it goes. Good, I'm still here, so my computer shut down. I'm going to end with this. I believe that America, that God intends for America to be a land for all of us, all of his children. That's what I believe. I believe that God created us all equal. That's what I believe. Because I'm a Christian man. But I also am aware of the fact that even white folks that claim Christianity, not all, but a lot of white folks that claim Christianity do not subscribe to everyone is equal, even though the Bible says so. I don't know if somebody taught you that. I don't know. I don't know all the rules behind entitlement. Is it learned from all your family and friends and your environments? I don't know. Is it learned or gained just because of the natural one-up that you guys have when it comes to schooling or positions or what have you? I don't know. I have no clue. But what I do know is that the denial that you guys hold on to, I don't know why you do it. I do know that I do know that that you do it, and I do know that it's wrong that you do it. I do know that if you really truly follow God's word, then you would be doing everything in your power to love on and protect your neighbor. And I want to say that I am your neighbor. Black and brown people are your neighbor. God said, love your neighbors as he loves you. If you want to claim Christianity, claim all of Christianity. Would you do that? Would you do me that favor? At least the foundational stuff. Would you do that? God says, love no other God before him. And we're supposed to love each other as he loves us. If you just grab those two things, then you wouldn't be able to walk around hating people. You wouldn't be able to walk around being racist. You would be just as angry and upset as we are if you're a true Christian. You would be just as in a hurry to see things change as we are. You'd be just as hurt when another black person gets murdered as I am and we are. You would be just as offended when racist slurs come out of a so-called president's mouth as I am and as we are. You'd be just as dumbfounded when somebody says racist things or sexist things and then turns around and pretends like he didn't say them. You would be just as sickened and hurt and angry and frustrated just as I am at having people what is this thing first oh my gosh, I forget the name of it now, the First Care Act, no, First Step, something like that. Anyways, where it was supposed to be Trump's version of putting into motion lessening the terms for certain types of crimes, and everybody likes to tout that. What you don't get to tout, or what you don't understand about that, is that the touting only applies to a certain subsection of criminals under certain codes, which is not a majority of the people that need to be getting out, that shouldn't be still in prison. Not only that, but all that does is take like 45 days off of the prison sentence. 45 days. And that's supposed to be some magical cure for the prison system? Before you guys tout things, before you guys rah-rah-ree-ree around a president, make sure you know all the details to the things that you're rah-rah-reeing about. I had somebody try to point that out to me, the First Step Act, and try to tell me, do I know what it is? So the person obviously didn't know me well, but that person also didn't know what the heck he was talking about. Because that First Step Act literally still, besides just taking 45 days off of the people that fall under the certain criminal codes, not only is it just that, but also it is disproportionately in favor of white folks over minorities. Even though, again, we are the only 13% of the population. We are a majority of the percentage per capita population in prisons. We are farmed through the system. It's supposed to be a situation, the First Step thing, where it's supposed to be able to stop the cycle of, and it's supposed to get people ready to live in society, because they're going to get 45 days knocked off of their sentence, and they're supposed to be able to get back into society, which 45 days on a freaking 20-year sentence, what the heck is that? But anyways, so it's really nothing, but 45 days, I guess you can appreciate 45 days if you live through prison that long, and if you make it out, make it up to the 45-day part, okay, cool. But you're supposed to be learning how to melt back into society, and so that's supposed to be happening, except that if we're being disproportionately overlooked in that same First Step Act, then it does no good for us. If the majority of people that get to take advantage of that first step are not black and brown people, then why are you guys touting that they did that for us? It's not for us. Look at facts. Look things up. You guys are posting all kind of stuff. Trump did this, Trump did that, Trump did this, Trump did that. Look at the details of the thing, not just the fact that he said it and his cronies said it, but look the actual thing up, the actual law, the actual statutes. Look those things up so that you can get the real answers. You guys are so in a hurry to want to grasp on to this freaking reality TV show dude that has, anyway, I don't even want to talk about him. But the point is, you're so in a hurry to be on his side that what you end up doing is you end up overlooking all the facts, the pure facts that deal with this. And I'm just trying to figure out. Oh, hold on, I got something. Dean Johnson, hey brother. Since Jim Crow, the judicial system has become another form of slavery. In essence, look at petty drug laws. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, people are literally, they're falling for these things that he's saying, and they're not looking at the facts behind these things. Yes, for not only do those original laws that criminalized and then jailed more black people disproportionately, but even with this first step care thing that the Trump followers are trying to tout, they're trying to say that that's something great for black people, but it's not, because if you look up the underlying facts to that, again, like I said a minute ago, 45 days is the average of what it takes off of a sentence, but that's only sentences that fall under a certain code. It's not for the ones that fall under the code that they're farming. So because of that, you have to look at all of that. Now, not only that, but then it does disproportionately favor white people under that law, even though it was supposed to be set out to help black and brown people. But that's not what it's doing. So we stay in the cycle of the prison farming system while other people are getting out on a law that on a bill that was supposed to be helping us. So, again, people, you have to pay attention to what actually people are saying to you. You got to stop letting these people pull the wool over your eyes. You got to stop letting people repaint and reinvent the things that we say so that they can fit your comfortability. Because I know everybody was waiting for a Trump to come along. Oh, you guys in the Midwest. Oh, you guys in the heart of the heartland and all that. Yeah, you were waiting for a Trump to come along. But guess what? He's not helping you either. Look, you're still getting the same unemployment check or lack of that everybody else is getting or not getting. Remember something. You folks on the farms, guess what? When you're on, and I'm not talking about prison system anymore. I'm talking about you farmers out there. Guess what? You got in a problem because you couldn't go back and forth with China and other places with the products that y'all used to go back and forth with. And why? Because Trump decided that he didn't like some crap and he put extra tariffs on top of extra tariffs last year. Remember? Tariffs and tariffs and tariffs. And guess what happened? It screwed up your business. It screwed up your farming business. It screwed up you having people that could pay for your stuff, right? Then guess what he did? He lets that ride a little longer. He then puts a little shimmy on you and puts some other stuff in the limelight. And then guess what? Then he makes some of his people go back and fix some of the stuff, not all, but some of the stuff that he messed up, and pretends like he just fixed it. But he did it. He's the one who put you in the position in the first place. It'd be like me, hanging out with one of you guys, and I go and I dump a whole box of cereal all over the floor. I create a mess, right? And then I take your attention away. I say, hey man, you know what? Let's just go for whatever, walk or so on. And then And then I call one of my buddies online, like, yo, go in the house and clean up that cereal that I spilled for it, would you? And you get back, and I'll be like, oh, yo, I handled this cereal business for you, man. It's all good now, right? And then you're like, yeah, high five, Obi, you did it, man. You got me, you hooked me up. That's awesome. But you forget, I'm the one who put the mess there in the first place. I'm cleaning up the mess that I created, and you're happy about that. Isn't that a little Twilight Zone-y? And that's what you guys are going through. There is I'm not saying all white people. I'm not saying that because I love white people. My mom's white, my daughter looks white, my baby's mom was white, so on. Okay, great, whatever. What I'm saying to you, my favorite pastor's white, but what I'm saying to you is that you're being bamboozled, man. You're being tricked by a slippery tongue. He's telling you to F off, and then he's coming back and telling you that he didn't tell you to F off. And you're saying, all right, high five. What? What about this new thing where they're pretending like the pandemic has been something of the past? What is that? I mean, are you guys that gullible? Are you that gullible that whatever he says is gold? Look, maybe I do need to be a sellout and start me a, support Trump website and talk show and whatever, and maybe I'll make $1 million. If you guys will be that swayed where I can say all this today and tomorrow I'll be like, hey, Trump. I'm so confused by you. America, what? No, not America as a whole. It's just white America. There is such a percentage. Listen, again, everybody who knows me understands I love white people, but again, there is this portion of white folks that just has to be stuck to this Trump thing. I don't know what it is. What is the glue? What is the magnetism? What is it that you like about this guy? What is it that makes him be able to spit in your eye and then you can still love him? What is that? It's amazing in a way. I mean, I don't like it, but I mean, it's kind of crazy. People are generally intellectually lazy. Trump is playing everyone, especially the low income and uneducated white people who vote for him. It's true. I mean, look, Dean, I gotta have you on here one day. You can rap with me live. I'm getting ready to end here in a second, but because this is like the third time I had to log back on, but it really is. It's sad because like today and yesterday, I haven't slept in 2 days, almost 3, and I'm because of pain that I'm going through. And a guy, by the way, you guys, please, I started a Facebook, thing where you guys can donate. I've sent videos and stuff. I got 5,900 and some odd friends. Please do me a favor and donate so that I can get my stellate ganglion blocks. Because I'm hurt like this, disabled, chronic Lyme disease. Because of that, I have to get. There's no cure for this yet, so the only thing that's going to help reduce the pain that I go through is these stellate ganglion blocks, and it's a procedure that they would give me twice a month, where they stick this thing in my neck and they 30-40 minutes put this numbing and whatever medicine down my spine, nerves, whatever, and then it relieves the pain for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks later I go back, and this is something that I'm going to have to continue for a long time. So I'm asking you guys to please donate at least $10, more if you can, and then I have a friend who is matching all of your donations. Freaking awesome. This person is such a blessing. Asked me to keep her anonymous. Women are amazing, and but so she wants to be anonymous. But I'm telling you, she's going to match it. So if you give 10, it really equals 20. If you give 100, it equals 200. So please do me a favor and donate. You can either donate through the Facebook thing that I started today, or you can look at some of the other posts that I've posted for the past couple days. Has the other 3 links where you can give. But anyways, back to what I'm talking about here, and that is that we have to become the people that God intended us to be. And if you don't believe in God, whatever you believe in that's positive and productive is usually founded upon some basic principle of goodness and love for each other. And if you have those kind of principles, no matter what you believe in, I'm not here to be your judge. Whatever you believe in, if you have those type of principles, then you should be helping each other, loving on each other, and helping one another to progress. So if you're a white person who understands what I'm saying right now, and you're a white person that agrees with these principles about loving each other and to make sure that you fight racism and hatred, if you're that person, then you should be talking to other white people that aren't that way. And you should be doing your best, because what we do know is that, and this is obvious, we all know that if I say something to a white person, they might get it if I'm articulate enough, if I can find the right words, and if God places certain things to help it be effective. But we do know that if a white person talks to another white person about this, it will be received a little better. It's part of racism. It's just the way it is. And so because of that, you see that even with the protest, our protests are more effective when our white friends join us and stand with us. It's just the way it is. And so, you have to, oh, thank you, Dane, man. No, this, I've been dealing with the Lyme thing since 2010. I didn't get diagnosed until 2015. So at that point, it was too late. I did do the PICC line and that strong antibiotic bulbs that I used to have to do, and a nurse would come and change it out and do blood tests and all this stuff. I used to go through all that, and then after doing that for almost 2 months, it was just not effective. It was too late. And so until they come up with a cure, then this is what I have to deal with. And so you'll notice on different shows, if you look at some of the past episodes, where I have to move kind of funny while I'm doing it, and doing different maneuvers while I'm talking because the head hurts, or like I have my glasses on now. Halfway because of I was crying earlier, and then halfway because my head hurts, and so on. So not for sympathy, just wanting you to know what's up. And if you look at my Facebook from before the pandemic started, you'll see I was walking people through all the things that I was going through in this Lyme disease battle. And a lot of people have helped and so on. But I am at this new point now where I do need people to donate. So whatever your heart and your spirit tells you to give, please do so. But at least $10, because then anything $10 and above, my friend is going to match. And that's just freaking awesome. That's a blessing. So, and this is something that I'll have to do forever. But again, back to what I was saying, I really I implore that you go to. I'm challenging my white friends to go to your other white friends and explain to them these principles of goodness, these principles of loving on each other.